of my videos, I'll link it up above, cutting back a monster. This was a split leaf philodendron that I got from a friend, and it got massive in my greenhouse to the point where I had to do something. I had no more room in my greenhouse, it being in there. So last year I cut it back. There was 2 main stalks that I cut in half, stuck one in a pot, and left the one that had the roots in the pot. And I had 2 pots of them. Now, I had given one to a friend of mine that put it in his office during Snowmageddon. They didn't have the building like on extreme heat because it was a school building and they were gone for vacation, but of course they had it above freezing. And one pot I put in my greenhouse. Well, when Snowmageddon happened, I pretty much lost that plant. I'll show it to you how mine fared. One did not fare at all. One is kind of hanging on, but it's struggling. But this is the one that I had given to a friend, and he brought it back over to here to me so that I could do a follow-up video on it. Now, I had tons. This is my most requested video, a follow-up on this plant. And I kept telling everybody, well, it's in my greenhouse. I'll do a video in springtime. When springtime comes, I'll do a video. Well, then Snowmageddon happened. And that, if some of you are not familiar with that, that happened in Texas here in our winter. So we were 8 degrees Fahrenheit. So extremely cold, way below freezing, which is very unusual for us. We do get below freezing, but not that type of below freezing. And it wasn't just for an hour or two, it was for days that we were like that. So lots of people in Texas lost many plants, outside, inside, greenhouses, etc. And besides that, there was many people stranded with no, heat for themselves. So I mean, I couldn't really complain too much when, a plant or a human, But anyways, my friend brought this back to me though, so I could do a follow-up on this plant. When I did that video, I had searched the internet, like I always do, about what to do with this plant, and there was nothing out there. There was not one video covering this subject. So that's one of the reasons why I feel like this has been such one of my most watched and most comments on video, most liked video, people requesting follow-up on it. It's just because there was nothing out there. And who knew that little old me in East Texas would, pick a plant that no one had done a video on. So, as you can see, it is alive. Both stalks are alive. This one is the one that was on top, that was rooted, that we cut off and have rooted down in there. So it does have roots because it is putting on new growth, as you can see right here. And this is the one that we cut off that did have established roots. So of course it's faring better and not having to work as hard to try to maintain itself. But I do have new growth. I have an offshoot coming off down here. I have an offshoot coming down here. There's another one down here. I don't know if you can see it. It's like almost like another plant coming up out of the bottom. I'll get y'all in closer where you can see it. But I feel like as, this plant was stressed as well, because even though it was inside, like I say, they didn't have electricity for a long time. So it was in a pretty cold environment, but it did manage to come out of it because it just freezing in there. So I would say that this has been successful. I feel like under better conditions, this would have been a more flourishing plant by this time of the season. But especially if you lived in a more tropical climate like Florida or something like that, or if I had kept my plant myself in my home, I feel like it would have survived better. But like I say, this was at my friend's workplace, so it was during that time, lots of businesses were shut down. He did not go to his workplace, so he didn't really look after this plant by any means. But he did bring it back to me so that I could do a follow-up video, and I appreciate that, Si. But the cutting back a monster did work. I also have another monster that I cut back, almost did the exact same thing to, and it's doing well, and I'll do another follow-up video on it. It's a pencil cactus that was over 10 feet tall. So I guess that's kind of my niche, is cutting back monsters and trying to get them to live. That's kind of my thing anyways. I love a challenge, anything. I'll just try. What are you gonna do? Try. So thank y'all for watching, and thank you for being so patient with me on a follow-up video with this. It wasn't like I was trying to hide anything. It's just with the weather, I had hoped that this would be better by now, but or I had hoped that my own would have survived, but like I say, mine did not fare as well as his did that I'd given him. But you can definitely tell these are the two that I cut off, and then I'm going to show you the other plant that I have that's my personal one and see how it's doing. And it's struggling a little bit, but it is alive. So I feel like if it survived this -8 Fahrenheit weather in the wintertime, it's definitely could survive if it was a normal winter or normal conditions, like in a nice heated greenhouse or in your home or patio, sunroom, something like that. Now my greenhouse is heated, but at -8 degrees, it's not going to do very well. Plus it was in the back of my greenhouse, which is the heater is more in the front of my greenhouse. So thank y'all for watching, and thanks for the follow-up on the cutting back a monster video. I finally got to do this video, and I'm so proud, and so thank y'all so much for supporting me and my channel. If you like my channel, please like and subscribe and share it with a friend. Thanks for visiting with me. Bye-bye. So as you can see, there's one coming out from that one, in the bottom. Another one coming out from the bottom here, and then a new shoot coming out of the top of this one. Here's the second plant. This is the plant that actually had the roots to begin with. I have a new sprout coming right there, and another one right here. So I do feel like it is survived, and the other one didn't do anything, so I got rid of that one.